Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Recently, with the launch of Season 3 Reloaded and some of the other title updates that have gone live in Warzone and Modern Warfare 3, we've seen some new files added to the game code in the back end, and they were ultimately data mined, as they usually are, and they give us some very interesting insight into some future updates. And within this video specifically, we're breaking down some future content updates across MW3 and Warzone that could be kind of interesting, but also some more information on Call of Duty 2024. There are a lot of files within Warzone and MW3 now, because it's all through the Call of Duty HQ app or whatever, that directly indicate certain things for Black Ops 6 or Black Ops Gulf War, whatever you want to call it. And it indicates potentially some very significant changes coming to the movement system and to general gameplay as well. So lots of very curious things to discuss in this one as we go through it all. If you enjoy the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. It's always really appreciated, and it does really help grow the channel. And if you are new to the channel or you simply have not subscribed yet, let's change that. Every single day, I'm your one-stop shop for all things going on in COD. So feel free to hit that sub button and join us on the road to 1 million subscribers. So first up, a couple of new things that we could keep our eyes on for some future seasonal updates here in Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone. For whatever reason, the most recent Season 3 Reloaded title update included some new files referencing some streaks coming to multiplayer. And one of them is a little bit more standard. We haven't seen as many new kill streaks drop throughout the year this year as what we've seen in years past, but the Reaper drone from Modern Warfare 3 is one of them. It's kind of like a mini AC-130 in and of itself. That was actually found in the files, so that could be a new incoming kill streak slash score streak, whichever one you like using there, for a future seasonal update, potentially Season 4, Season 5, Season 6. So that's one to keep an eye on. The other one, though, I find to be rather curious. It's actually the DNA bomb, which was the nuke equivalent for Advanced Warfare. Now, we've seen several different things from Advanced Warfare return this year, either in the form of weapons or other callbacks for the nostalgia factor, right? But I find this one to be a bit interesting because we already have the nuke in game, obviously. You can go through and you can get your gun streak in multiplayer and call in the nuke if you want. However, adding in a DNA bomb is basically the same thing. So is it going to be a full-on new skin for it? Is it going to be like through a bundle? Hey, if you buy this Advanced Warfare throwback bundle, if you get a nuke, it actually turns into a DNA bomb, or would it be its own separate thing? I have to imagine it's just a skin or some kind of like update for it that just changes the look and the sound of it, but certainly something to keep an eye out for. Another piece of new content we've got for MW3 and Warzone actually is a new aftermarket part, maybe for the most interesting weapon yet, the RGL-80. Now, you may recall a couple of seasons back, actually, we discussed some one-off leaks that mentioned potentially a new aftermarket part coming for the RGL-80, but then nothing really ever came of that. We saw all of the other aftermarket parts that were leaked alongside that drop, and the RGLs didn't. Well, with Season 3 Reloaded, the RGL aftermarket part in the files was updated a little bit more, insinuating that yes, a new update for the RGL would be dropping, and it's going to change the way that this behaves in some form. Now, what an aftermarket part could be here, I've got no idea. Maybe instead of grenades, it shoots off smokes, or it shoots out stuns, or something like that that's just a little bit more obnoxious. But yeah, the RGL-80 could get a full-on aftermarket part for a future weekly challenge series. So that one could be either very fun or very obnoxious, depending the route they go with it. Now, more importantly, as I alluded to at the start, we've got some new COD 2024 leaks that were found as well. And all of these, in my opinion, provide for either some really cool potential changes to movement within Warzone and then also in multiplayer in Black Ops 6, but also just general gameplay changes. Some of these mechanics could really seriously change up how the game flows and how the game feels. Now, keep in mind, I should say this at the start of every video, but especially when it comes to COD 2024 leaks, this stuff is just leaks. And we're so far out from seeing COD 2024 gameplay and actually having hands-on with it, and we're even further out from seeing the Warzone integration, that these things could be scrapped, altered, adjusted in many different ways. So until it's 100% official, confirmed at Call of Duty Next or at an Xbox event or something like that, definitely take this stuff with a grain of salt. But movement. There's a couple of new movement updates that were referenced in the files recently, tethered to Call of Duty 2024 specifically, or Project Cerberus, which would mean it would apply to multiplayer for sure if it were to come to fruition, but also likely to Warzone as well, given the fact that for the first time ever, a Treyarch title and the WARZONE integration are being developed on the same engine, which means a lot of what's going to be similar in multiplayer is going to be similar to Warzone this year, which is going to be very interesting to see play out. But we obviously have our slide cancels. There's also been talk of dolphin dives that we've talked about before with COD 2024 leaks and rumors, but now the newest movement mechanic that's been talked about in the files is some kind of juke. So I'd imagine this would be some quick one-off button combo you could do that would actually make your character move and strafe and, you know, maybe potentially jump, hop, duck, dive, dip, dive, dodge in some specific way that is different from your standard slide cancel or your jump shot or something like that, that could throw enemies off, especially in the close range. Whether it be a specific button prompt that would only work if you're in the close range, maybe with another enemy that you'd be able to interact with them, almost like a finisher move, but it'd still be while you're both obviously active and standing up, or if it would be a specific button input, like how slide canceling is sprint, slide, jump, or anything, if it would be, you know, left, right, slide on your analog stick or something like that. Obviously very far out from actually figuring that out, but a juke movement system coming could be very interesting for the overall movement meta. And then right alongside that, another update to movement that's been mentioned in the files is actually the ability to do a crouch sprint. So I imagine this would just be a much faster crouch movement speed. It wouldn't be as fast as a general sprint or potentially even attack sprint speed, but it wouldn't be as slow as your general crouching, where you're pretty limited in how much you can actually move around there. You're kind of a sitting duck if you're crouching right now and trying to strafe or really move anywhere in Warzone. So the ability to crouch sprint would certainly, you know, add for another level of potential movement metas there that could be really beneficial in certain areas on the map if you're trying to navigate through tight spaces or trying to take cover in certain areas. Being able to sprint out of that, then transition that into attack sprint, transition that maybe into a slide, could be really cool for the overall movement meta as well. And then finally, another new mechanic that's been mentioned in the game files is what essentially I would consider to be a human shield. This would allow you to take enemies either potentially as a body or while they're still up and actually push them in front of you and hold them. I think this was a mechanic that we had back in the Cold War campaign, and essentially use that enemy as a shield for yourself. So if their teammates tried to shoot, it actually end up taking them out instead of you, and it'd almost be like a riot shield, but instead of a shield, it's just an enemy. It's a pigeon skin, or it's, you know, a wood skin or something like that. So that could be really interesting for multiplayer gameplay and Warzone gameplay too. Like, could you imagine getting a knock and instead of doing a finishing move or doing an interrogation, you pick them up and use them as a human shield and as human cover instead? It would provide for some very fun interactions, I would imagine, for sure, but certainly some very interesting gameplay mechanic updates, content updates for multiplayer and Warzone here in MW3, and movement updates potentially for the future of Warzone and COD multiplayer as well. Of course, if we get any official information on this stuff, or if we see further updates to these leaks, I'll be sure to keep you guys in the loop going forward. So if you want to guarantee you're up to date with that alongside everything else going on in COD, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and drop a like on it, as it is always really appreciated. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.